Welcome to Fear Consortium, your sanctuary of terror. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Welcome to Fear Consortium, where we explore the shadows cast by history, the stories stitched into haunted earth, and the places where the dead may not sleep. Tonight we travel to a small town in Michigan where the gravestones whisper and cold hands reach out from beyond the veil. This is the story of Nunica Cemetery. Tucked between desolate Michigan back roads, pine-covered hills, and long-forgotten farmland sits Nunica, a seemingly ordinary town whose cemetery has birthed one of the most enduring ghost stories in the Midwest. But its secrets go deeper than the names etched into stone. This land, this soil whispers, and if you listen closely, it whispers of pain, fire, disease, and restless souls. Established in 1883, Nunica Cemetery was built on a rise above tribal hunting paths and rumored sacred ground used by the Ottawa and Potawatomi tribes. Locals speak in hushed tones about native burial plots disturbed during 19th century land development at the edge of Nunica's forest. Some believe the very location of the cemetery, atop this ancient ground, set the foundation for decades of supernatural unrest. Long before settlers staked claims in the area, the land held deep spiritual importance for the tribes that hunted and traveled along these wooded ridges. Seasonal migrations would bring dozens of families through the area, and it's widely believed that parts of present-day Nunica was once sanctified ground for ceremonial rites and burial. That spiritual weight remains, now overlain with the grief of settlers and marked with the scars of tragedy. Tragedy came shortly after the town was settled. Fires swept across the region, leveling homesteads and churches. The influenza outbreak that followed in the early 1900s devastated families, especially the children. Entire family plots in Nunica Cemetery marked the rapid extermination of bloodlines, gravestones bearing siblings lost within days of each other, often no older than 10. In the early 1900s, railroad expansion helped bring commerce to the town, but it also unearthed grave sites, including one near the original southern edge of the cemetery. Workers at the time reportedly refused to continue working after several unearthed bones were found stacked together without any caskets. Those remains were reburied but never blessed, and witnesses began to report strange sightings around the construction huts. Tools would vanish, fires lit by themselves. By 1907, the tracks were completed, but the area nearby was avoided by locals for years. And it's their spirits that seem to linger. Nunica, Michigan is well known for its haunted cemetery, around which several specific ghost stories and paranormal claims have emerged. The Woman in White. Many visitors report sightings of a mysterious woman in white who appears and then vanishes among the gravestones. This apparition is a recurring theme in local tales and is cited as one of the cemetery's primary ghosts. The Child Ghost. At least one eyewitness described the sensation of a cold hand grasping hers, even though it was a warm day, believing it to be the ghost of a child. The influenza epidemic of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, which killed many local children, is often linked to these reports. Civil War soldier Mr. Bond. Joel A. Bond, whose headstone stands out, is frequently mentioned in ghost sightings. People claim to have communicated with Mr. Bond through paranormal investigation tools, and he is considered an intelligent spirit who watches over the cemetery. Orbs, unexplained lights, and voices. Paranormal hunters report cold spots, unexplained lights, and disembodied voices, sometimes captured through spirit boxes and EMF meters. thought to reflect the spiritual activity in the cemetery. General City of Lost Souls feeling. Paranormal investigators and some visitors describe an overwhelming sense of spiritual presence, as if the cemetery is full of restless souls tied to Nunica's tragic past, including devastating fires, epidemics, and reportedly the land being a former Native American burial ground. These stories are part of what makes Nunica Cemetery a magnet for ghost hunters and the curious. Though there is no scientific evidence verifying these hauntings, most tales are passed down as personal experiences, legends, or recurring themes among those drawn to its eerie ground. On more than one moonlit night, travelers have reported seeing her, the woman in white, always walking, not standing, always drifting between the oldest headstones. Her form pale as bone and drenched in sorrow. Some say she was a grieving mother who died of grief after losing her children to the plague. Others aren't sure she was ever alive at all. She vanishes when followed, or worse, turns to watch. A local researcher once claimed she captured footage of the woman appearing in 3 separate places at once, all facing the forest edge, as if watching for something or someone. Then there are the children. One visitor told her chilling story. I was walking the grave path near dusk, no one around. I felt something tug on my hand like a small child. Frost, literal frost, formed on my fingers. When she looked down, nothing, just grass. But in her recording, an EVP clearly whispered, "Don't leave me." Another man described hearing a child laugh behind him, high-pitched, like a little boy, he said, then turned to nothing but graves and trees. When he continued walking, he says he saw a small figure dart between the headstones, wearing what looked like suspenders and knickers from the early 1900s. It was like staring into the past, he recalled. But the figure saw me. That's what scared me. One particularly disturbing tale comes from a paranormal team who visited during the fall equinox. As the group was finishing an EVP session, a wind picked up suddenly and one of the investigators heard what sounded like multiple footsteps running in the grass around them, circling fast. A voice recorder picked up faint giggles, followed by a whisper repeating the word "play." But none of them had moved. We were frozen. It felt like invisible children playing tag, and we were in the middle. These encounters are believed to stem from the mass child deaths during the Spanish flu outbreak. Some small gravestones are marked only with initials, their names, now lost. Others report hearing laughter before sundown and screaming after. Another visitor recounted seeing tiny handprints appear in the frost on her car windows the morning after a daytime visit. They were too small to be for my kids, she said, and they weren't there the night before. Some have seen toy balls roll uphill between the graves. One family who left a stuffed rabbit on a child's gravestone returned hours later to find it torn apart at the base of another child's burial plot, with fresh dew on the cotton. Multiple cameras left running overnight have captured fleeting images, a shadow darting past the tombstone just out of frame, or sudden changes in infrared temperature near children's graves. In one chilling video, what looks like the outline of a crouched toddler appears briefly behind an obelisk marker, then vanishes completely. But perhaps the most infamous presence is Mr. Bond, Joel A. Bond, a Union Army veteran from the Civil War era. His grave stands prominently, and it's here that paranormal activity spikes, especially around 3 a.m. Ghost hunters have claimed EMF readings that max out meters within seconds, spirit box responses like "Bond, soldier, you come back," audible footprints circling his grave, even in heavy snow when no tracks appear. One couple who visited early fall recalls standing silently near his grave when the man's Bluetooth speaker, completely paired with nothing, suddenly began playing static, and a deep voice muttered, "Don't forget us." They left in silence. The voice, according to the woman, didn't sound angry. It sounded disappointed. Some believe Bond remains to guard the dead. Others say he was wronged in life and now can't rest. One veteran turned investigator even claimed that his military-issued compass spun violently when placed on Mr. Bond's headstone, only calming once moved several feet away. Something's buried under him. Whether he meant secrets or someone else was never clarified. Locals warn the land itself is cursed, not just haunted. Survivors of house fires, natural disasters, or car crashes swear they had visited Nunica Cemetery shortly before their accidents. Strange coincidence? Or a curse that follows? One chilling story involved a group of amateur ghost hunters who taunted a spirit they believed to be the woman in white. That same night, their car veered off the side of the road. The driver survived but claimed it felt like someone yanked the wheel. He never returned to Nunica. And then there is simply the feeling. A man in his late 60s recalled visiting the cemetery with his father as a boy, placing flowers on his grandmother's grave. Even back then, he said, "I knew something wasn't right there. You never hear birds. It's always too quiet." Investigators often describe it as a weight on the chest. For others, it manifests as nausea, dizziness, or the inescapable sensation of being watched. The land breathes differently here. Photographs return blurry at the edges. Audio warps inexplicably. Drones refuse to stay aloft. Locals have given the cemetery a name, the City of Lost Souls, because that's what it feels like. Not one ghost, not two, but hundreds, watching, whispering, waiting. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Maybe it's just your imagination, or maybe the ground remembers. Either way, if you visit Nunica, don't go alone. And if you do, don't look back when the wind whispers your name. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and stay among the Fear Consortium.